going first. I've been trying to record a whole lot and I keep going first. That's pretty heckin' funny in my opinion. We'll start with Entei because that's the only thing we can start with. We do have a Pokeball in May and a rare candy as well. We're going against a Hydreigon. That's kind of scary. Hopefully I can get my Flame Patch in time. I can Torchic, no Torchic. Okay. Hopefully I can get a Torchic here. Or Candy and Lampent, so at least I have that. Go ahead and draw a card with Entei because it's gonna make me. They're gonna attack me for 20 if they have a rare candy and Hydreigon in their deck. I'm kind of screwed. So I think I really just need to build toward my Mega Blaziken because that will not enable it to do any sort of roar. They can't play something like Giovanni and Cyrus in the same turn. So I'm pretty safe, more like Sabrina, you know. They could go for my Litwick immediately, but I feel like that would be better for me in the long run. That would put Hydreigon, I think, at 170. I'm not sure if it has 100 and... Let me think for a moment. Because I'm holding 2 rare candies. Maybe... I think I want my Torchic. I don't really want a Lampent. Litwick, Mega Blaziken, that doesn't help. Alright, we used our only supporter for the turn. We'll go ahead and put Lampent down, though. Or Lampent back in the deck, rather. Put the Litwick down. 4 and 12. Maybe they put the Giant Cape on their Dano because they don't have Hydreigon. So I'm going to put an energy on Entei. This might be a bad idea, but we'll have to see. We're going to play Slow Seer just to burn a card out of their deck. That's a Cyrus. I like getting rid of that. Typically these decks only run about 1 Cyrus. There's my Torchic a little bit late to the party. Maybe I can get some damage in with Entei still. Yep, it's going to attack me for 40 perhaps. They're going to be able to evolve both of them. Professor's Research, draw 2 more cards. They have a third of their cards. I'd be surprised if they don't have at least 1 Hydreigon at this point. But I can go ahead and attack with Entei. I feel like I'm pretty likely to get my Flame Patch sometime soon. Copycat, Lampent. We'll go ahead and play Lampent. I'd like to save that rare candy for my Blaziken. We managed to discard a Hydreigon, which means once we get through this Hydreigon, we should be pretty good. I am really in need of a Flame Patch, though. They do have a lot of cards in their hand. They're going to play Mega Absol out. Thankfully, this deck isn't very supporter heavy, so they're not going to manage to discard very much. Hydreigon, are you going to play your Roar, or what are we going to do here? You are going to play Roar so you can build up your Absol on the bench. That's fine. I have more than enough tank, and we know that they can't get their second Hydreigon. So I am going to... How many cards do I have left? 4. I've used both my researches. I do have Copycat. I can empty my hand pretty good. So I'm going to put this Torchic down. Never mind, I got my Flame Patch. Easy game. What I was going to do is put the Torchic down. I was going to evolve Mega Blaziken. And then I was going to play Copycat to hopefully like thin my deck a little bit. I am going to be able to play Flame Patch over onto that card. I'm going to go ahead and play Copycat anyway, just so that I have more than just 1 card that's useful in my hand. Perhaps I can get, you know, my Combuskin. I do get my other Chandelure, so we're going to be able to burn more than just 1 card. We're going to burn 2. And then... Hydreigon's more than capable, or Mega Blaziken's more than capable of tanking Mega Absol until we win. We burned out their other Hydreigon as well, so we're doing pretty alright. We did discard a Cyrus earlier, and maybe they're not running more than 1 Cyrus, so we'll have to see. We are gonna be able to get more than 1 Mega Blaziken up and running though, so that's pretty good. We can retreat and tank something. They're not going to be able to discard anything. I'm going to hit Mega Absol. They're not going to be able to stay in. I'm going to go ahead and discard 2 more cards. Pokeball is a dead card. I'm going to play it anyways just to get rid of it. Shuffle the single card in my deck and burn away 2 cards of theirs. So let's see, Giant Cape is gone, and their other Mega Absol is gone. Their other Mega Absol being gone is a good win condition, just because that means they can't retreat into their other Absol. So this is pretty game set. They don't have their other Hydreigon. Blaziken can one-hit kill that, and Mega Absol is going to faint from a Mega Blaziken Mega Burning kick. So that's pretty much it, and GG's to my opponent. This is a very, very tight, very tough game, I think. I do gotta say, the fact that you can get a bench that looks like this these days is kind of crazy. Ooh. Oh dear. Sabrina, they conceded? What? Sabrina won them the game. I actually can't do anything about that. I can't do anything about that. Okay. This is why you don't press the concede button until you see your opponent make a play. Like, don't do it. Okay, we're going first. What do we got? We're starting with the Litwick. We do have a Lampent, so maybe we can take some damage for going against Dark. I expect either Hydreigon or Darkrai. Darkrai? Okay. Going first, so I'm just gonna go ahead and play all of these cards. Getting a second Litwick there is not great. I would have preferred to get a Torchic, but we're running so many Pokemon that it doesn't matter that much. See, there's my Torchic. I don't know if I'm going to evolve the front or the back. I'm probably gonna evolve the back. We'll just let this Litwick tank until it dies. I might evolve it into Lampent. I do have a turn to decide that. Just to, like, maybe eke out one more turn, make it to where Darkrai has to attack me to knock me out. I do have a rare candy, so actually that's precisely what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this and do that. Maybe even, do we want to play the long game? 10 cards, or do we want to go ham? I think we perhaps want to go ham, or even like Chandelure can knock out, and being able to discard cards at this moment in time seems more useful to me, at the very least. Get rid of some potion, perhaps. They do have a lot of cards in their hand, so I'm not going to be able to cause as much damage as I'd like to. One cheeky little play I can do right here is I can May to potentially draw my other Chandelure. I do have another turn to decide that, though. Well, actually, no, I have to decide next turn whether or not I'm going to do that. I do think I am going to go ahead and not do that. Being able to draw into my deck, which is more than half Pokemon, would be very, very useful, in my opinion. They are playing Clodsire Darkrai, looks like. I do have Torchic, so I am going to go ahead and Slow Seer. I'm going to put an energy onto this Torchic. I'm going to play this Torchic out just so they can't, like, do a funny Sabrina play and knock me out immediately. I'm kind of leaning towards doing this play with Chandelure just to get myself into a better place. Perhaps they elect to attack with Darkrai, perhaps they don't. Darkrai's not going to be able to knock me out in one turn anyway, since they don't have a Poison Barb equipped on Darkrai, and they don't have any energy on their Clodsire. They are playing both shiny Pokemon. That's pretty wacky. I'm going to go into my Chandelure now and start attacking. I'm going to start looking for a rare candy, for a Combuskin, something of that nature. Hopefully I can, like, draw my Entei because I don't want that anymore. I do have one more turn to decide, though, so I'm chilling. Got my Combuskin, which is great. I'm actually going to do that, and I'm going to play out my Entei just to have it on my bench. It's going to stand there menacingly. I'm going to go ahead and sear their other Darkrai out of their deck. If they do have the ability to draw, I'm only going to be able to discard their last card, which is fine. A Copycat would be very funny right now. It would allow me to draw the rest of my hand. It would let me evolve Torchic. It would let me get to my Mega Blaziken. It would let me do a lot of funny things. Are they going to do a Poison Point play? Are you going to Poison Point? Perhaps, maybe. Copycat would be funny right here. Maybe I can get rid of their other one card I didn't want. Slow Seer. I'm gonna keep... Yeah, I have like a whole Litwick line in there. Okay, I think though I am going to just retreat into my Mega Blaziken. That's not a very appetizing Cyrus target. I can get rid of Darkrai. I maybe should have retreated into Mega Blaziken last turn. Shouldn't have been so greedy. Just knock it out while they're weak. Because now I am going to be able to be attacked. They have yet to show that they have a Poison Barb, though. They're going to hit me for 60. I will get poisoned. They have a Poison Barb now. So I'll take 80. Sure. That puts me in a pretty advantageous spot. Because you can't build that one in time. Sabrina was a misplay. Because now I'm able to sack my Chandelure. If they have another Sabrina, I may be up Doo-Doo Creek. But we'll have to see. Okay, I do have my other Chandelure now. Then I'm going to go ahead and swap that out for a Mega Blaziken. Back into the deck you go. I'm going to play Mega Burning. They can't stay in an attack. Their other Clodsire is not ready to go either. I'm going to be able to kick that. They'll attack me for 120 and I'll win. So that's a GG. Even if they have another basic Pokemon they retreat into. Maybe they're running Mega Absol in all of this. I'll be able to kick that, but I'll still win. So at this point, it's just checkmate. And we'll have to see what happens. Then a shock. And then I kick and we win. And they can see, yeah, very nifty deck. I think it's very fun, in my opinion. I'm winning a lot with it. And hey, if you watched all this video, could you pretty please subscribe? I'd be very happy. Alright, we're going second again. We're starting with the Torchic. We do have a rare candy in our hand. We also have a Copycat. Copycat this early on seems pretty good, especially if we're going against a Suicune. Are we going against a Suicune? We sure are. What's that second card? They got a Froakie. So Copycat's gonna come in clutch later. This means I might be able to play greedy and look for my Blaziken with my May. We'll have to wait and see, though. I'm gonna go ahead and just play Peck so that I just sit here and draw cards. Perhaps I can draw one more Pokemon or a Pokeball, perhaps, so I can guarantee rip a basic out of my deck. I'm pretty scared of Greninja at this point. Wow, rare candy. And is this Greninja EX? Okay. So they are building their Suicune. I still have a good timer. That being said, they only have 2 cards in their hand, so I'm a little bit afraid, but we gotta do what we gotta do. Let me see. I have 13 cards. 2 of those are Mega Blazikens. A bunch more Pokemon in there. I lose if I don't look for Mega Blaziken at this point anyway. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and put my Lampent back, and I'm going to put Chandelure back. I'm not quite yet going to put my Litwick onto the bench yet. Just because I don't want to power up their Suicune, and I don't have access to evolve it. They conceded. Okay, GG Suicune. Just as a random aside, I don't really understand why opponents just concede before a match is over. I've come back from really difficult things. I don't know at this moment in time because I can't be bothered to figure out if that match was mathematically impossible for them to win. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe they do some wacky Greninja shenanigans. But really, don't give up until you're going to lose for sure when your opponent plays their winning card. Or if you think mathematically at that point you cannot win. Sometimes you can. Actually, now let's do a thought exercise. So I played out my Mega Blaziken and I was going to KO the Suicune that turn that had energy on it. If they put out their Greninja, which is the only thing at that point that can survive an attack from Suicune, then perhaps they can put an energy onto Suicune, leave Greninja up front to take an attack. It has an ability that would let Suicune switch in. Suicune at that point is hitting for 80 at that point. So it deals 80 damage to Mega Blaziken. It draws a card. Maybe they have a giant cape at that point, because these Suicune decks do tend to run that. They do have the free switch out with Greninja. Maybe they get a rare candy and a Greninja, which deals 20 damage. They're going to be able to maybe even a second Greninja EX at that point. So Suicune takes an attack. They're able to switch into Greninja EX, we'll say, or perhaps even Giratina. Giratina could Broken Space Bellow, and they could put an energy on a Greninja. It takes 1 attack from Mega Blaziken. They retreat Giratina into Greninja EX. They put an energy on that. Blaziken deals 140. No, it's if they had saved their Irida, then it would have been mathematically possible for them to potentially eke out a win, because they would have been able to heal for 80. That would put Greninja at 110. If they had another giant cape, it would be 130, which would still cause it to lose. It was mathematically impossible for them to win. But never give up anyway until it's the absolute last turn of the game. You learn a lot just from trying to survive that kind of thing, and how long you can drag out a game until you can maybe potentially eke out a win. That's just me, though. Going second again. Yippee. I can start with Entei or Litwick. I'm going to go ahead and start with Entei. I'm not going to play out my Litwick quite yet. If they decide to red card my hand on the first turn, it's whatever. This is an okay, pretty average start for this kind of deck. But I'm going to keep my Entei EX down, and I'm not going to put my Litwick down in case of like a Repel or a Sabrina. That way it would put me into starting Litwick instead. And starting Litwick would not allow me to draw a card from my deck on my next turn. Looks like I'm going against some sort of Silvally and Tapu Koko. I pretty much do intend to attack with my Entei at this point. I think I'm looking for my Flame Patch and my Woozy Whatsits. My Torchic Blaziken. I can play May to look for my Torchic if I don't get one from the top deck. Pokeball, 2 Pokeballs and 2 Torchics. About a 33% chance to get my Torchic. I do have my Combuskin. They're going to go ahead and do that. They're going to attempt to attack my Litwick. That's fine. I don't necessarily care about keeping that. I can actually probably too continue to build up my Entei in the back. Let me see. Let's play Research. High chance of getting a Torchic or a Flame Patch. Yeah, now I have my Flame Patch and I have my Torchic. So what I can do is I can just go ahead and retreat. I can Flame Patch onto my Entei. If they're running a red and a Silvally, that's kind of not great for me at this moment in time. That might actually throw the game, but I don't necessarily care about that, so to speak. I don't anticipate they have red and Silvally in their hand when they have 3 cards and their deck has 12. That would be a pretty nasty combination, but mathematically it just doesn't work out that way right now. I do have access to May and a rare candy. My Lampent is evolved. They do have Silvally. Do they have red? They have Gladion, which means they're going to have access to another one. I'm actually going to forego putting any further energy on my Entei, just because it is going to go down next turn, and I don't necessarily care about that happening. If they have a Cyrus, that's pretty dangerous for me, but I'm not necessarily worried about that either. I can actually use a Pokeball to rip the other Litwick out of my deck before I play May. Just give me a higher chance of getting what I need. I have another Torchic and Litwick. Okay, so I'm going to put Torchic back. I'm going to put Mega Blaziken back. I'm going to evolve this. Play out my rare candy to evolve into Blaziken. Put my Litwick out. Go ahead and put an energy onto Blaziken. We'll do a slow Sear. I'm not going to discarding red is pretty good. Draw another card. What do I get? Blaziken. How many more cards? 4. I've played both my Professor's Research. I do have a Copycat. I've played my May. I have played my Flame Patch as well. Did I make the correct call in playing my Flame Patch like that, though? We'll have to find out. Depends on if they have a Cyrus. We'll go ahead and let them KO me like that. They do have a Cyrus. I am lost, but it is what it is at this point. Chandelure top deck is pretty much precisely what I'd like at this point. Go ahead and discard 2 cards. Discard 1. There goes red. Discard another. And Pokemon Center Lady is gone. At this point, I'm still wary of a Cyrus, and the less I discard, the more I'm worried about it. But Mega Blaziken shouldn't have too much of a hard time plowing through the rest of these Pokemon. A giant cape on Tapu Koko might suck, but that also is what it is at this point. Perhaps I should have saved my rare candy for my second Mega Blaziken. But like I said, I'm playing with fire at this point. If they play a Cyrus out of their hand at any time, I just lose. Sabrina also loses, so we'll have to see what happens. We'll see if I can't get my other Sabrina. Yeah, Sabrina loses, huh? Yeah, we'll go ahead and just give them the game. GG. Sometimes that's just how it goes. Nothing to be done.